And so this evening is dedicated to water, an evening where we honor and remember and celebrate and pray for water. But before we do that, we call in the spirits very briefly, because Saga will later on expand the call before our ceremony. So if you just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and just arrive here and now. Being present at this moment, where we invite the spirits of the directions of the north, the south, the east, and the west. And the spirits of the elements of air, of water, especially water, of fire, and of earth, where we honor the land we stand upon and all the life forms that share this beautiful planet with us. And on this special day of Lammas, we are honoring all the life-giving forces within and without and around, giving thanks for all that we can harvest, that nurtures us and all of life. We honor our ancestors without whom we wouldn't have life, and all the seen and unseen forces below and above, and inviting them to be with us this evening, so that whatever we do and whatever we attempt and whatever we create will be for the highest good of all of life. Aho. So, as I said already, this is an evening dedicated to water. And without water, we wouldn't have life. And it's an evening to remember this, to really understand that water is life. Not just part of life, it is life. Without water, plants wouldn't exist, animals wouldn't exist, we wouldn't exist. So water is life. And we all know that our waters worldwide and locally are under siege from pollution, from climate change, from mismanagement, and from corporate greed. Our waters are under siege in a massive way. And with that, life is under siege. This is quite important to really acknowledge that. And tonight we invite you to honor water, to reconnect with water, especially but not only with the waterways within our countries, wherever you are, with the rivers, the streams, but not only, also globally with the waters of the sea. And we will start this evening in a moment with Jonathan, who will talk a bit about a sacred journey he undertook. Was it last week, Jonathan? It's last week, yeah. For 2 days, canoeing up the River Stour and doing some ceremonial work there. He did that within a bigger framework, but it was his very personal sacred activism, as Jonathan is very good at that. He decides to do it and then he does it. And he will give us a bit, of a rundown of that. And then Saga will follow with a prayer ceremony, which will be interactive. So really, please, you are included, take part, and so on. And then we'll open it all up and we chat and we share and we talk, whatever one's sharing. But before we do all of this, I hope you brought a candle. Let's light the candle. If you haven't, you have time to go get one. Because at the end, we will send blessings to the waters out through our candle when we blow it out right at the end. So if everybody could light a candle and hold it up for a moment. Let's our light shine. Okay, so I pass over to Jonathan and let the candle burn, your candle burn until we finish. So John, over to you.
Christa. And one of the things I'd like to start before I talk about the my journey with the Stour, I'd just like to start reading this with this blessing. It's called Blessing for a River at its Source, and it was sent to me by Soul, who I can see just joined the call. And you sent it through to me, Soul, just as I finished this journey with the Stour, just as I was there looking at where the river meets the sea. And I like how this kind of becomes circular and kind of the journey continues again back to honouring the source. And I'd like to read it. It's part of Prayers for Turtle Island by Mindy Meltz. And yeah, it's called A Blessing for a River at its Source. Dear river, may you fulfill all your promises. May you quench the thirst of deer and coyotes, people and beetles. May you raise forests upon your banks, feed swamps where beavers cocoon you. May you flow undirected, undammed. May you deepen with trout, with otters, with snails, and with salmon, with kingfisher dreams and water strider footprints. May you nurse fat tadpoles in your pockets, and may you renew every land. May lovers and poets rejoice alongside you. May the weary bathe in you and rise up refreshed. May your sound be each person's story. May you be comfort. May you be faith. May you wash away the sorrow of cities while remaining ever pure. May you be a gathering place. May you be worshipped. And may your worshippers care for your body and pick you clean of what does not belong to you. May their children find and lose treasures in your crumbling eddies, splash in your shallows and daydream in your depths, find salamanders beneath your stones and then release them gently right back where they found them. May the love of you make us holy. May you be peace. May you give the gifts you long to give, and may those gifts be honoured. May you be held sacred everywhere you go. And because you are a river, may you flow onward and outward and downward without ever pausing to say these things are not possible. Because you are a river and you have no fear of falling, because you are that thread unbreakable, the chain of water between the sky and the sea, because you can only go down toward that only center and nothing ultimately can ever stop you. Dear river, just go and be our freedom, dear river. Be our forgiveness, dear river. Be. What I'd like to share with you now is my journey with the Stour. This yes, was mainly over a couple of days, but actually kind of there was other parts of it that were spread over a period of a week. And I did this last month in July, which the Right to Roam campaign, kind of nominated as their month of Love Your River. And they invited people in many ways to connect with and honour their nearby river. And I've done a lot of work with the River Stour over the years, and with things we've done with Sacred Earth Activism, where we've done river cleans and all sorts. And this was an invitation just to kind of go a little bit deeper. What I did was journey to the source of the River Stour, and I'll talk a little bit about the process with it, but it was inspired by a cycle of ceremony that was carried out by Laurie and Kadia with us a few years ago, when we kind of originally started the group of water warriors and looking at sacred actions for the waters, of starting at the source and carrying on down the river from there in pilgrimage. And so I'd like to, I'm going to share the screen so I can share some photos, because it's much clearer if you can see what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it. So give me just 1 second while I pop the screen up. And I can see some of you on the screen, so please give us a wave when it's when you can see it there. Yeah, fantastic. So my journey was down the River Stour. It's my local river, and I know we're an international group here and even a national group. So this is a map of England here. And where I am is down in this bottom right-hand corner down in Kent. And the River Stour, its sources come from 3 pools in Lenham. Lenham's just a small village. One of the pools forms a pond in the middle of the village. Another of the pools is in somebody's garden, and they have done something absolutely really beautiful with it, of really honouring that that source of the River Stour. The third pool I haven't found, but it journeys down from there. It journeys down south towards Ashford, where it's no more than a stream through there. And as you see on the map on the right from Ashford, can you see my mouse as well, where I'm hovering it over? I don't know if you necessarily, oh yeah, you can, fantastic. This is where they consider it kind of starting as a river. So here it's just trickling down over stones and kind of a very small stream, but it becomes the river when it gets down to here in Ashford. Then it carries on up to Canterbury, where I live, and the Great Stour then carries on over to Sandwich in the sea. This first bit here is a walk that follows most of those streams. And I began kind of, first of all, when it was too shallow to go into the water, kind of going along this way. And I got into the canoe, the kayak from here, and carried on. At the source, this is what I mean. It's really just kind of bubbling up through stones there and trickling down, starting to find its way. And the cycle of ceremony that I was inspired by Laurie and Kadia did a few years back was going to the source and gathering water from the source there, where the water is purest, where it's still carrying all of that life-giving energy, where it's not polluted, where it's not contaminated, where it's not filled with all of those poisons and impacts that Christa was talking about further down, and gather it there with a prayer that you'll carry that water down the river, and at different points return that water from the source to the river to remind it who it is, in all those places where it's been poisoned and contaminated, where it's really struggling to keep life going because of all of those impacts. Is just to go and give that prayer as you go on down. But as you go on down the river, you also kind of really intimately get to know the river. From Ashford, I jumped in this, and just as I set off, I got paparazzied, and this took me further on down the river. And it really varies as you go along. In some places, there's a very narrow stream that I was able to go along. In other areas, it was opened up quite wide. And yeah, in other areas, it's kind of deeper. In other areas, it's shallow. really beautiful to see the river from that angle. You only get to see that when you're actually on the river. It's not something, it's a completely different view of it. And with butterflies dancing around, with seeing the plants kind of in the water, kind of whistling around underneath you as the current goes through them. The dragonflies, the birds. It was absolutely stunning just to have a completely different experience of the river. However, as is common with our experience of the river, and this is just past Ashford, these were, you have all of the outflows that come from where the sewage comes out from the towns. It doesn't look particularly, this one on the right is not necessarily quite so bad, but this here where it's all kind of blown up is because of all of the outflow there, which is causing all of those algal blooms, which ultimately suffocates the rivers there. One of the main things I noticed is it stank like sewage along those ways, and there was different points I was going along that I could really smell it, and was starting to look around to see where the outflow was. And at those points, stopping as much as the flow of the river would let me, to offer some water to the river again in ceremony at those points. And as many places as I could along, I took photos just so I could report back to different environmental groups of the state of the river on parts that people don't normally see. This is just kind of a resource that is useful for those in the UK. The River Trust, you can go in and have a look at the maps there. You can't quite see where the river actually is flowing along on these maps, but all of these little brown dots and black dots are points where there is a kind of sewage outflow, and it tells you how many times there's been outflow from those places in the last year or in a last period of time. And you can kind of, I mean, it's kind of one of the things that's been widely reported is that they are being very kind of cavalier with how much they're opening those up and just letting all of the sewage flow out. The downside of that is the sewage in the water and the level of pollution in the water causes a huge amount of contamination, really suffocates all life in the rivers there. And when we did the river clean with Sacred Earth Activism a few years back, or a couple of years back, and I contacted the council, they essentially said that they couldn't sanction or support or encourage us doing it because the river was so polluted. They recommended we didn't go near it because of the amount of sewage in there, the risk of us getting all sorts of illness because of the level of sewage in there. That's not the only issue that's along the way. As you go into certain areas, there are parts of the river that people consider you're not allowed in. Here there is a fence or a barrier going up. So in some ways, it possibly is there to stop rubbish. It doesn't do a great job at that. But mostly it stops people in canoes going up and around. But generally, right along the way, you come across different signs like this. This is private areas. Hilarious kind of in one way, but kind of mad that there's still this idea of the word poachers. These fish that kind of swim up and down the river that kind of, go in and out of different areas. Somebody considers it theirs, and that if you were to take it, that would be poaching. What you can't see on this one in the middle is there is the bottom of the sign says no canoeing. Bit further on, there was an area that was impassable because just because of the shape of the river there. And I got out and saw again, the sign saying no boating or canoes allowed. The issues with this is what Right to Roam are really highlighting is the fact that if we don't have access to the waterways, if we don't have access to the land, we can't actually see what state it's in. We can't actually, if we actually were able to see it, we would be in a position to care for it more and spot actually what's going on in those areas. The life that is in those areas, you might just be able to see in this one. This was an enormous fish. I saw lots of small fish. Somebody may be able to say in the comments if they can recognize that by its shape, but it was really quite massive. I'd say about a foot long. A lovely family of swans that kind of were not used to seeing somebody coming through with a kayak, so kind of quickly went on around the corner there. But the other one is this here. I can't see the comments section, but I was going to see if people might guess what this is a sign of. Oh, I've opened up the chat. Pop in the chat if you've got a guess as to what this is a sign of. Yeah, the first three of you straight away. Beavers, and again beavers. It's a recent thing that's been monitored. Beavers getting back into the River Stour in different places. Absolutely incredible sign to see them there. They are environmental engineers. They will do huge amounts to, you know, reshape the river there in a way that it will kind of change the biodiversity, increase the biodiversity. I'm sure they're building a little dam nearby. They were nibbling here. Just as I arrived to this point, I heard a big splash and I saw movement. I didn't see enough to see if I'd seen the beaver there, but spotting this then just afterwards, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But if they are building a dam, what the sad thing is that is then just gathering up with all of the rubbish outflow from the town. I didn't pick up too much that was in that area because I was worried that it was too close to where the beavers were. This is down the bottom here. This is as close as I kind of got to it. This is sort of behind me was where I saw those bite marks. There is where it was all jammed up and unfortunately filled with rubbish. In other areas along the river, I filled as many bags as I could transport along the waterway there. But while there are beavers in the river, building their dams, kind of engineering the shape of the river, unfortunately, the amount of rubbish that's coming out of towns is just filling up in those areas. And, you know, just all of that is kind of gathering up all of the, the pollution outflow from the towns there. Carrying on a little bit further out, as we come out of Canterbury, it goes out around kind of Grove Ferry and towards Sandwich. It's where there's a lot of boats along the water. I didn't canoe along this bit just because of the amount of traffic that there is on this bit of the waterway, but did visit a number of different spots. I'm not quite sure what the health of the river is here. It looks very cloudy, but I don't know whether that's just because of the amount of traffic going on through. And this last picture is just where the river in the distance there joins the sea. And this is as close as I could get to it there on that point as it goes out. It is a lovely spot there out there. You can see seals on that corner hanging around in that spot. It's a really, really lovely area to gather or to kind of head out to. But on this particular trip, I didn't get out there on the canoe. This is where I was, Sol, when your message came through, which was a really lovely time to receive it. I mean, in terms of this as a cycle of ceremony, in carrying that source water and, you know, the last bit of the water, I was going to give the offer there where it kind of goes out to the sea, but I wasn't able to get close to it. So it's joined us tonight. So it will be part of the blessing tonight that we do. Is that all along the way of the river, you're able to really connect with all of the different the way that the river changes, the way that the river goes, the way that kind of the environment and habitats change along the way. You really, and you have time there with the river. So in terms of a connection with it and a ceremonial connection, it's really beautiful from that side of it. But where this touches on the kind of the political and the kind of environmental is there were parts of the river that I shouldn't have been on, and the condition of those parts of the river would not have been seen and are not being seen and are not being kept an eye on because people aren't able to get there to see it. And if more people were able to see it, as Right to Rome point out, you know, we kind of only have access to 3% of our rivers, 97% we don't have access to. We can't see the condition of those. We can't see that there are beaver dams being choked with plastic bottles and all sorts of other rubbish from the towns. We can't kind of we don't notice, and if we're not there to actually smell the human effluence that is kind of been that is flowing out into the waterways there. And if more people were actually able to go and see and connect with and have some time with the rivers, apart from where they just flow through the towns and the cities, we would be able to really get a sense of the state of them, and be able to kind of join in the efforts for change with them. A lot of what I've kind of seen on there, I've been able to feed back to local environmental campaigns, and particularly with the beavers. There is a group that's keeping an eye on what's going on with the beavers, and that's been able to feed into them. There's something that happens each year called a paddle out around the country, where you get a bunch of people going out in canoes to go and pick up litter along the river, and it's having kind of done this trip along there, it's been able to identify points along the River Stour that could do with a paddle out. And in terms of the right to roam, those areas where you're told not to go are areas that are just also areas then that are being neglected, and the pollution and contamination to them is just getting missed. And so this is just what I wanted to share with you on that, in terms of how this particular cycle, love your river, can be kind of a part of all of that other wider work and those campaigns there. I think that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jonathan. I guess we are all touched. I was. This is really inspiring. And if you do anything like this and you want us to host something around something you do, take enough pictures or little videos and we can build it in. It is really inspiring. Okay, we invite Saga now to come in, and we are doing something together, a kind of prayer, blessing and more. So Saga, all over to you.
All right, hi everyone. So I'm Saga, and yeah, for today, so that we're all aware of what's going to happen, I'm going to be guiding us in a way to energetically connect to water, whether you are a water lover already, which I might assume that you are, but to really connect with the depths in which we are intermingled and a part of water, which is life. And through there, we're going to speak, this energy, these feelings, these words into some water. So I'm going to invite my guest of honor, which is some water here. This was collected today from my local river, which is also functioning as a lake here that runs all the way to the Baltic Sea. Of course, I want to speak a little bit about her. Her name in our language would be Jungan, and there's a long history with this water. The people who have lived here on this land, where I live now, have always wandered with, worked with, lived with, and honored this water. There are burial mounds nearby that overlook this water. There is a pilgrimage path along this water. And so this water here, which also represents water overall for me, is very important for me personally as well. With my ancestry, I'm also indigenous on my father's side of North Africa, who are also very close with the water. So what we're going to go through today is going to be a mix of that heritage as I guide us. So you're probably going to hear some Swedish in there and some Tamasif in there. So I hope you're prepared. So we begin by finding ourselves here and now. And I'm going to first address the spirits, the divine, those which are already here, north, south, east, and west, and the spirits thereof. Welcome, Tammirt. Thank you for being here. I ask that you lend yourself, that you dance with us for this beautiful ceremony where we will connect with water, where we will mend with water, and we will let our energy sing with water. To the spirits of earth, please, I ask that you are here and you hold us in your stable foundation. You cradle us through this ceremony so that we feel safe, so that we feel grounded, so that we feel connected to this earth. On this beautiful day of harvest, this beautiful day of the full moon, and this beautiful day of, as I understand, it's the day of Pachamama as well. Please be welcome here. The great bear, mother bear, please hold us. Please allow us to sense your presence, your calm, your earthiness, the earth womb which you represent. Spirits of air, I ask that you come here and you join with us so that we may breathe and sing and speak and think clearly as we connect to the flow of water. The Hawk of Dawn, lend us your wisdom, your all-seeing eye, so that we might see the bigger picture as we connect with water here today. To the spirits of fire, we invite you here to help our passion, our hearts, the drumming beat of our energy dance with water in this space. The stag of the heat of summer, please lend us your joyful, life-bringing heat that we might share in this heart space and this love with water. The spirits of water, of course, great and honored, please come here to this space, the space across time and space, no matter if it's here and now or past and future. Please be present here. Let us connect with you, knowing, of course, that we're always connected with you. Bring the wisdom of awareness to us, O Salmon of Wisdom. Flow with us, dance with us, connect with us, and guide us. Thank you. I ask that these spirits surround us and hold the space, across time and space, across the weave, for anyone present here and now, for anyone watching this in a recording, for anyone who find their way here. May this space be held, that we may connect and weave and co-create this together. Ancestors, Disir, Ulderfolk, Atlas who holds the mountain, Bergatroll, Tushar, Esirun vänner. Snälla var med oss, kom hit och var med oss här nu. Håll det här rummet, gör det heligt. Aisha Kandisha, Anzar, Amman, Raidavanzar. Please come here, hear us, flow with us. The waters of the north, of the glacial area, underneath the dancing northern lights. Waters of the west, the south, the east, flow with us, remind us of the water that flows in us, around us, timeless. Thank you. I address now the Great Spirit, by whom we know by many different names. Please allow us to flow through this week with water tonight. Now I ask us all to become aware of our own physical self here and now, as we will begin to connect. You're invited to take a few deep breaths, settling into this space that is beautifully held by all present, seen and unseen. Breathing deeply, sensing the earth beneath and around us. Then breathing deeply and sensing the air and the sky, all the stars, the celestial energies, the full moon, which is at its fullest right now, its gravitational pull on us and water. And then breathing with the waters. Waters outside and around, and then the waters inside. The water of our lifeblood, the water of our body, each breath, this water carries oxygen, nutrients, life throughout your body. Every heartbeat flowing, dancing, the water inside of you. Now, you are invited to go deeper within, to your inner mind's eye at rest. The vast darkness of the potential of your mind and spirit. From here, with the beat of your heart, you feel a pull deeper within. As you go deeper and deeper, you start noticing that all around you, you see your life that you have lived before you. Mornings flash by, evenings, every day, drinking, eating, bathing, high point points may stand out to you. Getting caught in the rain, resting by a river or ocean, back you go, all the way to your childhood, jumping in puddles, drinking delicious drinks, swimming, bathing, water ever present. Further yet, back. You find yourself inside darkness again, held, surrounded by the water of your mother's womb. This first water which held you, and through this, sensing the timelessness of water, every generation before you held in this water, back, the dawn of time, held by water. Life itself being birthed through water. You might feel now this energetic connection across time and space with water as the life giver. You might even see and feel a cord between you and this water. Holding on to this connection, you now start coming back to where you are now. Forward you go, birth, child, young adult, every day, still with water, to the here and the now. Back in this body, you're now invited to, if you have some, bring forth the water that you might have brought with you for today. If you have none, then you're of course welcome to connect to this water here. Now, with this water in front of you or near you, you might feel called to hold it, cradle it, touch it, put it on yourself. This water is very safe for me, luckily, here in Sweden, so I can do this. And feel that energetic connection with water, connecting to this particular part of water. And through this connection with water, we will now speak some prayers. I will speak them out loud. I invite you to either invite these words as your own, or if you feel so called, you can speak yours out loud to yourself. You stay muted for this part. We can share later what our prayers are like. But we will begin by addressing water. Water, who is me? Water, whose life? water who was here before me, before my ancestors, and who will remain after me and my descendants. We share love for you, water. You have held us, you help us grow, you nourish us. And yet, some of us hurt you. Some of us pollute you, some of us treat you like a resource. And yet, here you are, still giving us life, nurturing us. Every day, every night, giving life to all life forms, giving birth to life itself. Please feel our love now, feel us, as we honor you, as we love you, as we ask for forgiveness for the harm that is done, for the blindness of those who do not see. Forgive us for this life that we have built upon this earth where we forgot to live by you and with you, in you and next to you. Know that we are here, praying to you, speaking to you, singing with you from our heart centers. So much love and appreciation. Know that we honor you, the calm you give us as you reign upon us, leading all of nature. The joy you give us as we splash in your waters and you hold us and remind us that we too can swim and fly in your substance. I give to you some offerings gathered from near you, so that you know that we appreciate the connection between you and all of us. Into this stone I speak prayers for myself and all who so desire, of the importance of remembering being held by water. Please carry this prayer to the rest of water for us. And to this leaf that so willingly wanted to participate, I speak prayers and love and gratitude for always allowing us to float with you and alongside you, for reminding us that like the leaf, sometimes we have to let go and just flow, because it will always carry us back to source. Please carry this prayer and love with you back to the rest of the water. Into this grass and its seeds, I speak a prayer of love, of appreciation for all that you help grow within ourselves and within nature, that you feed us, that you give us your nutrients, that you flow through our very blood. Please accept this prayer and carry it with you to the rest of the waters. Into this final stone, I speak the prayer of all of water, of love for you, of ocean and river, of the divine which dwell within and around the waters, of water itself, every little drop, every raging river, every cloud, every cycle. May we always remember that we are one. And may those who do not see this have their eyes opened to your beautiful healing and cleansing powers. For you are life, and we thank you. för den du är. Tack för att du är med oss. Tack för att du deltar i det här. Tack så mycket för allt du är. Tack till Diser, till Tusha, till Ese, till Vanir. Tack till alla förfäder som är här. Tack till du vatten. Han mer. If you feel that there's something you wish to add to your own water, which of course is connected to all the waters, that you then will be able to return to the water from which you gathered it, then please take this invitation now to do so, knowing that water responds to our vibrations, our voice, our energy, and will carry this into the big picture, if you will. With that, Christa, I think it might be a beautiful time to open up to anyone who wishes to share or feel called to speak out loud their prayers.
Thank you, Saga. Any of you would like to speak a prayer aloud? The bowl is still there, or if you have your own bowl, we are energetically connected, so please put the prayer into the bowl now. It could be a few words, can be a song, whatever comes to you.
Yeah, I want to give thanks for the sound of water, the music of water, which brings so much joy to my soul and to, I'm sure, the spirit of many other people. It's just the sound of flowing water is divine. So much gratitude for the song of water.
Aho.
I give thanks for the springs and for their eternal springing, so that there is always water coming fresh from the ground, with the energy of the earth and everything else that it carries. I give thanks for this.
I wish to give thanks for the time I spent in water floating on my back in the summers, and I offer the warmth that we have collectively brought into this space and hope it will go back to the source.
Thank you, Anjak.
I give thanks for the strength of the cleansing of water as it cleanses us daily in our showers and our emotions and our fears, so we can move forward as it moves forward.
I'd like to thank and honour the generosity of water, the healing that she brings and the way that she sculpts the land, flowing across, through and with life.
I would like to thank water for the many, many images and visions it gave us, like the flow of life. And that it reminds me, and I guess others, to flow and to flow and to flow. Even sometimes we want to push, but water reminds me of the flow, and I thank water for that.
I'm offering this prayer and soul to River. River of tears, carry us. River of tears, carry us home to the ocean of our being, to the ocean of love.
I'd like to thank the waters for the lessons and the responsibility of connection, from the river to the sea, to evaporation, to falling in rain again. There's a lot to learn and be thankful for in that connection, and a huge responsibility in knowing that connection that the waters have and that we have into the waters and into the wider circles of life.
I'd like to add another prayer, just to thank water for its ability to soften the hardest of surfaces and edges externally and internally, so to bring sort of greater capacity for allowing life to flow through. I'm really grateful for that. Thank you.
I just want to add that water is responding very beautifully to all of this, and it's just delightful. And what I will be doing after this, of course, is to release this water back to the river where she belongs. And she will carry all of this energy and all of these prayers with her through the river and into the ocean and the wider flow of life. So thank you all for speaking your prayers into your water, if you have it with you, and also this water. It's a beautiful connection and reminder of, how we're all one. So I don't know how you want us to do this now, Christa. Do you want me to thank the spirits that I called in before we go into more of a grounded conversation? How do you feel we should go?
If nobody wants to put another prayer into the water, now is your chance. If you feel called to do that. If not, we will close this part of the ceremony. Saga will thank the spirits, but let's give it another few seconds, see if somebody else wants to say something.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'd like to thank the sea. I see the sea every day, and it just has an incredible effect on all the other elements. When you look up into the sky, and just when the sun goes down, just changes the light everywhere you look, and it makes the wind so much stronger, and it's just wonderful to be able to see it every single day. And you just take your rubbish out.
Thank you, Lucy. I live by the sea and I have the same. It's kind of just... So thank you to the sea from me as well.
Thank water for the teaching of transformation. And water is with us as rain, as mist, as frost, as fog, as ice. And it reminds us that the constant is change and that we are part of that change and we transform all the time. And that's a teaching and a blessing for us all.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I want to thank water, for that cleansing and clearing and dissolving energy to move around any obstacles, or to go through obstacles, particularly feels important for today, as the 1st of August and the root of the word August being to augur. To see beyond that what's in front of us. So that quality of water, may it help clear our vision, clear our eyes so that we can augur and see beyond that which is in front of us, as well as the beauty of actually seeing what's in front of us as well. But yeah, deeper too. Thank you.
So, Saga, if you would like to do this spirit thank you, and then we close.
Of course. Thank you all so much. And thank you to water. We find ourselves again in this sacred space across time and space. After this reverie, this celebration, this declaration of love and mending with water, the reminder that we love water and that we appreciate water despite many things that are done. I thank the Great Spirit, you whom we know by many names, the great Creator who also has, through water, birthed us and everything. Thank you for being here and for allowing us to co-create and co-weave this beautiful ceremony together with water and each other across time and space, here and now, and in the liminal of the internet. Thank you to Atlas of the mountain, to Berga pushar, till huldror, till disir, till förfäder, till vaner, till eiser, till jötnar. Tack till er alla. Tanner Aisha, Tanner Atlas, Tanner Ansus, Tanner. Tack Thank you for being here. Thank you to the waters of the north, the south, the east, and the west. Thank you to the spirits of the different directions. Thank you to water. Thank you. Our prayer will be sent out into you, and we will embody this prayer as we clean your shores, as we fight for you, as we live by you and with you. Thank you for this moment and this reminder, and for being here. Thank you to fire and the stag of summer and the passionate heat which has embodied itself through us into this loving space. Thank you to air and to the breath and to the words that flow, to the hawk of dawn for their oversight. Thank you to the earth that held us, and to Mother Bear, who reminds us of the earth's womb and the timelessness and nature itself and life. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, spirits, here, far, and near, spirits of the land, of the mountains, of the waters, spirits of rock, the rock people, the star people. Thank all of you for this ceremony. May those who are here just for the ceremony go back if you feel so inclined, and may there be peace where you go. Peace of the north, south, east, and west. And with this, the ceremony is finished in the apparent world. But may its energy and inspiration and this prayer live long in the waters and on our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you, Saga. Just the centering for another moment and bringing back to our awareness what we want to send out to the water. Your individual prayer, love, our apologies, our admiration, our reverence, whatever comes to you. And just see yourself doing this in front of your inner eye. And hold up your candle if you haven't done so yet. And then we will together blow out our candle and send our prayers, wishes, our reverence, our love out to the water. Thank you everybody for being here. And I think I would like you to unmute yourself and we say goodbye in the normal noisy way, shall we? Please unmute.
Bye.
Thank
you very
Bye,
much.
everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Beautiful night.
Bye.
Thank you.